Okay, Google. Anti-intellectualism defined.
On the website dictionary.com, they say, a person opposed to or hostile toward intellectuals and the modern academic, artistic, social, religious, and other theories associated with them. A person who believes that intellect and reason are less important than actions and emotions in solving practical problems and understanding reality.
Yeah, we're going to talk about anti-intellectualism today. Hey, what's up everybody? Flasher, Flashy Dark Art. So today we're going to talk about anti-intellectualism, okay? I got recommended this topic by a good friend, Thomas. Thank you, bud. I don't know if it's what you're going to want to hear, but it is what it is. Anyways, anti-intellectualism was first used in 1911 by a guy named John Spargo. It sounds, from what I read, it sounded like he was a socialist or something like that. And basically it was a term for calling people idiots when they don't agree with logic or reason and they kind of just run off of fear and emotions, okay? So we're going to talk about that today. By the way, if you haven't been on the channel before, make sure you hit the big red subscribe button. Helps me out. Now, just because you're going to college and you're highly educated does not mean you are not participating in anti-intellectualism.
At American colleges, if you're a faculty member and you want more pay or a promotion, you must publish articles in journals like these.
Well, what's in the journals, Mr. Stossel? What's in them?
I have now closely considered the revisions of your manuscript, Dog Park. And
They're laughing because they just pulled off a hoax.
What was the hoax, Mr. Stossel? Something about a dog park? Well, what happened in the dog park?
7 of their crazy papers got in.
And one that claims that dog humping incidents can be taken as evidence of rape culture has been officially honored as excellent scholarship.
thinking, oh my God.
Highly educated people get stuck doing stupid shit too, okay? If you're not familiar with that clip I just played, okay, that is a group of people that were concerned about where academia was going and decided to see if they could get stuff published, just making up bullshit that's popular about, you know, just ideas like, you know, gay culture and lesbian culture and, you know, rape culture and just all these freaking things that are just really popular right now. And they did seven different things that got published. So as I started looking into anti-intellectualism, I noticed that the left uses this term a lot, or is starting to use it more, and they're referring to, most of the time they're referring to flat earthers, anti-vaccinators, okay, and climate change deniers, okay? Not just that climate change is not just affected by man, but that it's just not happening, right? So rightfully so, to some degree, anti-intellectual, right? But I was wondering if this would apply to other things, things like transgenderism, abortion, the wage gap, right? Concepts like Trump being a racist, gun control, socialism. I mean, what else could this be used for? So we're going to dive into it a little. So when we talk about anti-intellectualism, what are the contributing factors? What causes it? Well, I think the first and most obvious one is tribalism, right? Before we're human, we're American. Before we're American, we're part of the Democratic, Socialist, or Republican Party. Before we're part of a party, we're white, black, Hispanic, Asian, right? We get stuck playing these identity politics sometimes. I venture to say the left is more guilty of this than the right. But we have a tendency to get stuck in this loop where we're not thinking outside the box and we're hearing our own echo chamber. When that happens, we think we're doing things for the greater good because we know in our mind that we're correct, okay? And we're willing to win at all costs. Doesn't matter if it's right, wrong, or somewhere in between, we're willing to go 100% forward. So tribalism is a big contributing factor. What do you mean before I'm an American? Whoa, Jethro, same team, okay, same team. The second contributing factor is most likely lies, right? Things like when people talk about climate change, they accuse the right of lying to make money and keep the oil companies in business and yada yada, and politicians are part of it. But you also see this with the left, where I remember the Sutherland Springs shooting down in Texas. Guy went in and shot up a church full of people with an AR-15. It was all over the news, AR-15, AR-15, AR-15. And then when they said that a good guy stopped him, a good civilian, right? They're like, yeah, he stopped him with a hunting rifle. That good Samaritan was Stephen Williford, and he stopped the guy with an AR-15. Stephen Williford was an NRA shooting instructor. Okay, he's like the media's worst nightmare. Now, I think the third contributing factor when it comes to anti-intellectualism is endorphins. Okay, I think people, when they have something that's really difficult to explain or difficult to figure out, I think they get that rush of endorphins. They feel good when they get an answer to something, right? It's easy to find. It's kind of laziness, right? They don't want to search for the answer. They don't want to do their homework. So in this day of information, right, all we do is we search some and we get that first answer. We just feel good that we don't have to search anymore. We don't have to really look for the truth. And we found it. It was exactly what we wanted to hear. And I think that's a big contributing factor, okay? I think the fourth and probably last factor of this is fear. I think people are afraid to speak out. I think they're afraid to say something that goes against what their tribe is thinking, right? Goes back to that tribalism thing. I think they're afraid to get cast out by their friends and by their peers. And because of that, they're afraid to actually express what they know or sometimes what they think is correct. So what are some common tactics of people who express anti-intellectualism? One of them is stating sources that without a source, or manipulating it because they know you're not going to go and look at the source, right? They'll throw a bunch of sources down and they know you're not going to go look at it, right? Alex Jones is infamous for this, and that's part of the reason, he's been deplatformed a lot. Like I like Alex Jones. The guy's entertaining.
They go, this is how it works. You build the atomic weapons this way. You build they would show them bombers, and the aliens are telepathic. I don't even believe this. This is what the Nazis believe. And the aliens would mind meld and give them the technology. They're bad aliens. So are you surprised the Nazis were influenced by demons?
But sometimes he'll do things, and I think he believes it, man. He'll do things like with they're turning the frogs gay. They're turning the frogs gay. Okay, that was an actual UC Berkeley study. It's kind of funny because one of the things he takes the most flack for was actually a real study from UC Berkeley. Okay, it turned out that the pesticides were actually turning some of the frogs gay, and they were turning 1 in every 10 male frogs into a female frog. Right, where Alex Jones went too far is he goes, they're intentionally they're putting the pesticides to make everything gay, right? Kind of lost some credibility, okay? So they'll manipulate the sources or they won't put them. The studies are 100% unarguable. You can't argue about it. They're absolute truth, okay? The only people that deal in absolutes are usually people that are lying to you, right? Or think that they're so correct that there's no way they're wrong, right? Fear-based outrage, right? You'll see this with climate change, gun control.
What if our politicians weren't the of the NRA? Fighting for the gun lobby and making sure that they can sell more guns, kill more people, scare more people. They're pathetic that want to keep killing our children.
Anti-vaccinators, right? The side effects, extreme right government take over people, kind of like your Timothy McVeigh's, you gotta act now, right? People that don't rationalize things. And then you'll see big one is scientific studies that are missing variables independent, dependent, and controlled variables. A great example of this is the wage gap, right? This is probably one of the first topics we're going into is the wage gap, right? Everybody thinks there's a damn wage gap. There's not. Okay, they took a broad study over the course of a year and everybody's wages or whatnot and just put them in. And it turned out that women made less. They didn't take anything into account, like women having babies, women taking more time off, right? Years of experience. They took variables out of the study. What high school science fair have you been to where the scientists or even the kids don't put variables into play? It's absurd. But they just ran with the study. You're talking grown-ass adults who are supposed to be scientists or be able to study this stuff and interpret data, and they left out variables. Who does that? And then you got people running with this, oh, there's a wage gap, there's a wage gap. There's a wage gap because they made it a wage gap, okay? It's illegal for women to get paid less than men, right? But yet they're getting 25% less than men. If that was the case, dude, screw it. Why hire men? Let's just hire women. They work for 25% less anyways. You think there'd be more women in the workforce? Another one is gun control, okay? This kills me because they manipulate gun studies a lot. You'll hear, oh, every year there's 32,000 deaths from gun violence. Oh gosh, that's a lot, 32,000. They don't tell you that 2/3 of those are actually suicides, okay? 2/3, that only leaves like 8,000 that are actual murders. And when they talk about that, they don't talk about that these actual murders are gang related or violence of some kind, right? People that kind of put themselves in that situation. It's not somebody that's just walking down the street and gets shot. The vast majority of these are gang related or violence related, where people walk into a situation like that. Going back to the suicide thing, 2/3 of these are suicides, okay? And they're like, oh, it's just the easiest way to do it. It's the easiest way. If the tool's in the house, yeah. But are you telling me that a rope doesn't work? Are you telling me that a toaster in the bathtub doesn't work? Are you telling me that gravity doesn't work? Like the Golden Gate Bridge is like the #1 place people commit suicide. You climb up somewhere high and you jump off, right? It's not complicated. Okay, suicide, once again, suicide is a terrible, horrible thing. But to say that the only way to do it is guns is just asinine. It's stupid. Next one we're going to talk about is anti-vaccinators. Holy crap, this one kills me. Okay, because I hear these things like, oh, there's side effect of this and side like your early onset Alzheimer's and stroke and this and that and whatever. Okay. The side effects do not outweigh the risk of exposing humanity to life-threatening diseases that have plagued us since the Dark Ages, okay? It's absurd, man. The reason humanity has jumped from just under 2 billion to 8 billion just in the last 200 years is because of advances in medicine and science, right? And vaccines are a part of that. So don't be an idiot when it comes to vaccinating. Vaccinate, okay? Yeah, there might be some side effects. I don't know. I'm not a scientist, okay? But I know humanity's been living a lot longer, and part of that is because of vaccines. All right, since we're talking about population, okay, I think it's important to move into the next topic, which would be climate change, right? Climate change is happening, okay? Whether you totally like, no, it's not happening or whatever, okay, or you're a diehard socialist, whatever, climate change is happening. Is mankind affecting it all that much? I have no idea. From the way statistics look and whatnot, but some scientists have argued it, okay, it has spiked within the last 150 years, right? What we're talking about is in the last 200 years, mankind has gone from just under 2 billion to about 8 billion, okay? That's not just what we're doing, okay? It's how many people are doing it, how many people are living on the earth and whatnot, okay? In the last, I think it's in the last like 100 years, we've killed off over half of the bird, sea, and animal life. That's scary. Once again, probably not so much a global warming thing, probably more of a mass population thing. So when you talk about fixing climate change and whatnot, you have to give me something better than socialism. You have to give me something better than forcing people to do something. You have to give me something better than population control, because that's what it's going to have to come down to. And you want to know what? I would rather die a free man, and I would rather have my kids die free than slowly wither away in chains, okay? Or be forced to do stupid shit and have our freedoms taken away, okay? So you have to, if you want to fix climate change, okay, you have to give me something better than forcing everybody to do something, okay? Because the vast majority of the population, okay, whatever country they're in, Republican, Socialist, Democrat, they really don't trust the government. Which is funny when you talk about Democrats, because a lot of them are pushing towards socialism, and they still don't trust the government, which is entertaining to me, okay? You have to give me something better than forcing people to do stuff. By the way, if you think that climate change really isn't happening, there's been some interesting research and stuff like that. But just I think like a week or two ago, they actually pulled coal out of the air. They hydrated the air, they compressed it, and they injected it into the ground, and it made coal. Okay, that's concerning to me because there's enough shit in the air to pull it out and make coal. That's concerning. Food for thought. Since we're talking about socialism, you want to talk about anti-intellectualism? Socialism is definitely up there, okay? You are a freaking fool if you have forgotten all the lessons that history has taught us, okay? Socialism, communism, okay? Those are one and the same, okay? Socialism is responsible for over 110 million deaths. Okay, and these aren't deaths where it's like, oh yeah, well, capitalism's caused deaths too. Yeah, capitalism has some skeletons in the closet. Okay, but these are people that died starving, that died from a repressive government. Okay, that died trying to take back what little power they could so they could feed their children. That is a horrible, terrible thing. Okay, socialism will always be ruled by a dictator. Don't be an idiot and think that socialism is a great thing. Okay, don't be a fool. That's about as anti-intellectual as it gets. Speaking of crappy governments and what's not crappy governments, when did Trump become a racist? I am so confused on this one still. Okay, gosh, was it Al Sharpton or Jesse Jackson that gave him the Black Community Award back in the day before he became president? He used to be on Oprah all the time, treated her with respect. Yeah, I know, that's not real racism. In my eyes it is, because, you know, going back to whites only drinking fountains and stuff, there's a whole nother level of racism that we apparently forgot, because now, you know, becoming president makes you a racist. He's done more for the black community in the last 2 to 3 years than the Democrats did in the last 8 years, okay? Before he became president, Trump gave drinking water, or hopefully clean drink water, gave him $100 million to Flint, Michigan, right, to fix their infrastructure and get clean water. Okay, all Obama did was show up, pretend to drink the water, say it was okay, and then when the people were pissed off, he sent the army in to do war games and made it look like he did like a passive-aggressive version of martial law. It was interesting, okay? Trump at least took a step in the right direction and gave him $100 million to try and fix the drinking water, okay? Trump has brought up black unemployment. He's made a ton of jobs for black people. Trump actually implemented prison reform to where the black community was not suffering from a bunch of crimes that really, for the most part, shouldn't be serious crimes. They shouldn't be spending a lifetime in jail. And not only that, but he also made it so that it was easier for them to rehabilitate and get back into society, reintroduce them to society. Okay, Trump has done more for black people than Obama did in 8 years.
Dude, you woke me up. I'm freaking tired.
Oh, I'm sorry, bud. Guess ranting or raving at 3 in the morning isn't the best idea. There's no other time to do it, though. So, go back to sleep, bud. Go shut your door, okay? Since we're talking about children, what the hell's going on with the whole abortion thing? When did it become okay to kill a baby after it's born? Here's my thing with abortion, okay? I'm not, me personally, even though I'm conservative for the most part, I don't go as far as to say that you know, life begins right at conception, okay? I think, personally, I do think that for the most part, but I think you're going to have a hard time getting the vast majority of the population to go along with that. Here's what it should come down to. Absolute stopping point. If we can't get conception, this should be the talking point here, okay? From an intelligent standpoint, when does life end? From a scientific standpoint, when does life end? When there's no brain activity, right? So shouldn't the stopping of brain activity also be the marker for life, right? If we're talking about when life begins, what about at 8 weeks when the baby first starts developing brain waves and brain activity? How about 14 to 16 weeks when the baby's brain activity is influencing reactive movement, right? Where you touch the baby and it reacts, okay? Shouldn't that be the absolute latest? How the hell did we get to third trimester and aborting the baby after it's alive? It's murder, you guys. From a scientific standpoint, it's murder, okay? If when there's lack of brainwaves, that's death. It should be the same for life. I don't know. Scientists are going to have to talk about that one, but 8 weeks or 14 to 16 weeks, somewhere in there, okay? If we can get it all the way back to the moment of conception, great. Probably not going to happen, though. So let's work on the brainwave thing. All right, this next one has been a sensitive subject, but we're talking about anti-intellectualism. You guys, transgenderism, okay? A penis is a penis and a vagina is a vagina. You cannot interswap them. Putting fake tits on somebody does not make them a woman, okay? Now, I'm not saying I have any problems with transgender people. I don't give a shit. You want to chop off your penis? Chop off your penis. You want to put boobs on yourself? Put boobs on yourself. I don't give a damn, okay? They were called cross-dressers back before that. Nobody really cared. A couple pissed off people in the South said they were going to hell. That's about it, okay? Nobody else gave a damn. We thought they were funny. We thought they were quirky, whatever. You do you. I'll do me. Here's the problem I have, okay? Quit telling my children that it's normal, okay? Because it's not. I'm sorry, okay? And quit trying to get people fired because you don't like what they're saying. Okay, you got hate speech laws up in Canada and hate speech laws in the UK, where you better call somebody the proper pronoun. That's not even the proper pronoun. I mean, it's absurd. Okay, and then you got like California introduced into the mental health field that if you misgender somebody, you actually get, it's a crime. You actually get a citation or you get a misdemeanor for this. I don't know what the hell it is, but it's actually a crime down there now. It's absurd. Okay, and I work around some people in the mental health field, and it's sad because in some of these bigger hospitals now, they're starting to make it so that if they mispronounce somebody's gender, okay, they can get written up or eventually fired, from what I understand. That's bullshit, okay? Let me clarify. Politics have influenced the science and the medicine field. Okay, if you don't believe me, the first transgender flag was flown in 2000. Okay, 2000, screaming for equal rights, and they were upset about all this stuff, yada yada yada. Okay, and it slowly influenced the mental health field, okay? Listen, the mental health field, what they're doing with transgenderism, they don't do that with any other illness, okay? If you come in cutting yourself, they call you a self-harmer, they try to help you. If you come in trying to hurt yourself, they try to help you, okay? And I know what you're saying, oh, they're not really hurting themselves, they're trying to be complete. Okay, listen, there's a thing called xenomelia. Okay, xenomelia is the thought that somebody they feel like they shouldn't have an arm or they shouldn't have any of their limbs, okay, and they actually tourniquet. These people will tourniquet their limb and leave it on there for 10 days just to make it die and fall off, okay? They'll try to hack at their own limbs to cut them off because they feel like they shouldn't have arms. They'll go in and they'll get doctors to try and remove it. We don't encourage that, okay? We don't go, hey, you're a brave individual, let's chop your limbs off, okay? We don't do that. When somebody comes in schizophrenic and they go, oh, the government's after me, like demons are trying to get me, we don't go, you're right, let's hide you quick, okay? We tell them that it has to do with mental illness. Why, when somebody comes in and wants to chop off their penis, we tell them that it's normal and they're brave? Okay, it's interesting. It is interesting. Don't get me wrong. If they want to do it, let them do it. But we shouldn't be encouraging it, okay? Now, going back to the pronoun things, I don't give a shit what you think you are. I don't have to call you it, okay? I think I'm king of the universe. I don't expect you to call me king of the universe. Makes sense? I hope so, because if not, you're a freaking fool, okay? This goes for everybody that thinks that our children should be being taught that transgenderism is normal, okay? And when I say normal, I'm talking about what the vast majority of the population does, okay? It's not normal. It is not what the vast majority of the population does, okay? And once again, they can do whatever they want to do. I don't give a shit. Quit trying to influence my kids and quit trying to get people fired over it. Oh man, and the last one, the ultimate flat earthers. My goodness. Okay, flat earthers. If you're not familiar with the concept of flat earthers, okay, they believe that the earth is kind of a dome shape and it's flat and just the surrounding edges are all ice so nothing rolls off.
Flat earthers imagine the earth looks like a snow globe, round but not sphere. The North Pole is at the center of most flat earth maps, with the ice of Antarctica holding everything.
Okay, yeah, it kills me, man. This one dude bought he spent $15,000 making a rocket in his backyard so he could shoot up and see if the earth was flat or not.
I just couldn't dismiss it after like 4 or 5 months of researching this.
He didn't even make it as high as airplanes do. He made it 33,000 feet less than airplanes do. He could have just bought a plane ticket, okay? And here's the thing, man. If you don't know if the earth is flat or not, go to the middle of Kansas. If you've never been to the middle of Kansas, okay, you look out at crops and you know what happens? It meets the sunset. I'm not even kidding. Whatever direction you look in Kansas, the ground meets the sky. There are no mountains off in the distance. There's no little tiny specks out there. There's no. It's just grass meets sky, or hay meets sky. That is it. There's nothing else, because the curvature eventually disappears over the edge. Okay? The earth is not flat. You're a freaking moron. You hear people like, yeah, if the earth wasn't flat, if it was round, water would just float out and flood space. No, gravity keeps it in place. Shocker, right? I made this video pretty long, so if you stuck around, you're a trooper, okay? This is Flash with Flashy Dark Arts, telling you to check sources, check facts, really do some outside the box thinking and figure out the truth behind things, man. Because usually there's a right and a wrong in most things, and I think we're just too lazy to look for them sometimes. So, yeah.